We understand that every firm works differently. The information one firm needs to see first on a matter, lead, or contact may be completely different from what another firm needs. For some firms, it is billing details. For others, it is intake source, client type, responsible attorney, or custom information specific to their internal process. In our previous release, we addressed this by introducing the configurable top information bar. Instead of a fixed layout, firm admins could choose exactly which fields appear at the top of a contact, matter, or lead, including custom fields. So the most important details are visible the moment a record is opened, without scrolling. For matters and leads, admins could also bring related client information into that same top section, with different fields depending on whether the client is a person or a company. That gave every firm a layout built around the way they work. But it gave each firm only one layout per record type. And in practice, firms told us that one layout is not always enough. A family law matter and a personal injury matter are very different pieces of work. They call for different information at the top of the page. Forcing both into the same configuration means one of them is always compromised, either cluttered with fields it does not need or missing fields it does. So we have taken this to the next level. Firms can now personalize the top bar by practice area. You still have a firm-wide default, but you can now add rules that give specific practice areas their own layout. The same is available for leads. Let me walk you through it. Start with a matter. Here is a matter as it looks today. At the top of the record, you can see the top information bar, matter number, client name, pipeline, and stage, and the other fields the firm has chosen to surface. Right now, this is the firm's default layout. Every matter in this firm is displaying the same set of fields in this same order, no matter what kind of work it is. Let's go and change that. Open Edit Top Bar Fields. This is where everything is managed, and the screen is organized in two parts. At the top is the default configuration. This is the layout you just saw on the matter, and it applies to every matter in the firm. You can see a live preview of it right here, and you can edit it at any time. Below that is the Practice Area Rules section. This is what's new. At the moment, there are no rules. The counter tells us 0 of 25 practice areas are customized. That means all 25 practice areas and every matter inside them are currently falling back to this default layout. Now, let's create a rule for family law. I select the practice area, and Lawcus opens the configuration editor scope to it. You can see the practice area named at the top, so you always know which layout you are editing. From here, I work exactly the way I would with the default layout. On the left is the full list of available fields, grouped into client details and matter details, including any custom fields the firm has created. I select the ones that matter for family law work. Let's add case type, and remove the ones that don't. On the right, I arrange them. Fields can be dragged into order and split across two rows, a primary row and a secondary row, and the live preview at the top updates as I go, so I can see exactly what the user will see. I can also choose which client information to surface, with a separate arrangement depending on whether the client is a person or a company. Lawcus applies the right one automatically based on the client link to the matter. And now I click Save. Family law now appears in the Practice Area Rules list, marked as Custom, with a preview of its layout. The counter has updated. I can repeat this for as many practice areas as I need. 2 things worth knowing. Each rule is a complete layout of its own. If you later change the default configuration, the practice areas that already have a rule are not affected. They keep the layout you set. And if you no longer need a rule, you simply delete it. That practice area goes straight back to using the default configuration. Now, let's go back and open that same family law matter. The top bar has changed. Case type is now surfaced right at the top, the fields are ordered the way the firm wants them for family law, and the user sees exactly what is relevant to this kind of work without changing a single thing themselves. Now let's see a matter from a practice area with no rule. And here is a matter from a practice area we have not customized. It continues to use the default layout, exactly as before. That is the whole logic, and it is completely predictable. If the matter's practice area has a rule, that layout is used. If the practice area has no rule, the default is used. If the matter has no practice area set at all, the default is used. Because a matter belongs to exactly one practice area, there is no priority or ordering for an admin to manage. Firm admins can do exactly the same thing for leads. Lead settings has its own top bar field screen, with its own default configuration and its own practice area rules that work exactly like the matter ones. Matter rules and lead rules are completely independent. You can personalize how your intake team sees leads without touching how matters are displayed. And the other way around, contacts are not tied to a practice area, so they continue to use a single firm-wide configuration. So to recap, previously, you could configure the top bar once for your firm. Now you can set a default and then personalize it by practice area for both matters and leads. The goal is the same as it has always been: help users see the most important information faster, reduce unnecessary clicks, and make every record page reflect the way your firm actually works. We've simply made it more precise. Instead of one layout for the whole firm, your team now sees the right information for the type of work in front of them the moment they open the record.